The reveal of monsters in horror movies are usually grand and heart-racing. They may have come from above or descended on a city, or perhaps they are flesh-eating zombies that have succumbed to a virus. However, there are a handful of monsters out there that have been living among us all along, waiting and watching, ready to pounce. So today on Top 5 Scary Videos, I'm going to be counting down our list of the top 5 horror movie monsters that live among us. Before we begin though, I want to give a big shout out to Loot Crate for sponsoring this video. Loot Crate is a subscription service that provides monthly boxes of nerdy or geeky related merchandise, from anime to horror to sci-fi to Marvel and even Elder Scrolls. Loot Crate has absolutely everything. We were kindly sent Loot Fright, which included a handful of horror themed goodies, including a milk jug from A Clockwork Orange, a Leatherface figurine, and even a Leatherface apron. So right after this video, go check out Loot Crate and get yourself an exclusive loot box with our code TOP10. Links will be in the description below. Before we begin though, be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll be responding to some of your comments. And with that, let's jump in. Coming in at number 5, we have Crawlers from The Descent. The Descent is truly one of the finest horror movies out there, with it being claustrophobic, thrilling, and downright terrifying. Released in 2005 and directed by Neil Marshall, the movie follows 6 women who become trapped while caving and are forced to survive against humanoid creatures living inside the cave system. Now, with any cave comes cave dwellers, in my opinion anyway, and these crawlers have become completely adapted to their environment. They thrive in the tight spaces and in the dark, whereas the women do not. Now, to be honest, there are 2 monsters in this movie hiding in plain sight: the crawlers in the caves, and Juno, one of the women who slept with the husband of Sarah, our protagonist. You, Juno, we don't like you. Anyway, it takes a while before we see these crawlers in all their glory, with the reveal happening during an absolutely terrifying jump scare involving a night vision camera, which somehow makes it even more terrifying. However, there was also a moment early on in the movie that exposes these creatures. As Juno lights a flare in the massive cavern, the camera switches to a wide shot where we can see a figure standing on the left-hand side of the screen. At first glance, it appears to be a woman, but then it crouches in an inhuman way, revealing to us that it is an outsider stalking the group, waiting to pounce. Coming in at number 4, we have Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. Now, this is a classic depiction of a monster living among us without us ever realizing it until it's too late. Released in 2000 and directed by Mary Harron, American Psycho stars Christian Bale, Willem Dafoe, Jared Leto, Josh Lucas, Chloe Sevigny, and Reese Witherspoon. A killer cast for a killer movie about a killer. The film itself follows Patrick Bateman, a wealthy investment banker who is forced to hide his psychopathic nature before giving in completely to his bloodlust, beginning with a homeless man and his dog. From there, the movie descends into complete and utter madness, with no one being safe from the wrath of Patrick Bateman. From prostitutes to co-workers, he targets everyone by killing them with a polished axe, to even dropping a chainsaw down a staircase on someone. The movie is brutal and unrelenting, yet no one suspects that Patrick Bateman is the killer he is, with a psychopath hiding in plain sight, luring in victims to meet their end. Saying that though, the movie is left somewhat open-ended, with it being hinted to that perhaps Patrick Bateman hallucinated the entire ordeal, or maybe in fact he is a murderer, yet no one knows it. Regardless, Bateman is a true monster, and someone you don't want to accidentally stumble across under any circumstance. Coming in at number 3, Mr. Bye-Bye, The Bye-Bye Man. Now, The Bye-Bye Man is not a good movie by any means. I have openly spoken about my disdain for this film and how terrible I think it is. It truly is horrendous, and I love it for that. However, it has found a place on our list and we're rolling with it. Released in 2017 and directed by Stacy Title, which sounds like a made-up name, The Bye-Bye Man follows 3 college friends who discover the origins of Mr. Bye-Bye, a curse that results in death. Don't think it, don't say it, because once the Bye-Bye Man is inside of your head, he takes control. Now, like I said, this movie isn't good. It certainly had potential, but it flopped pretty hard and pretty fast, with not even Carrie-Anne Moss being able to save it. However, Doug Jones as the Bye-Bye Man is incredibly creepy, even from the early moments of the movie, where we see a young girl, Alice, wander through her uncle's home. When she enters a bedroom, the camera tracks behind her. We see a mirror on the left-hand wall. However, as the camera passes the mirror, it reflects further, showing us the Bye-Bye Man hiding in plain sight. Adding more creepiness, she opens a cubby door, and as she does, on the other side of the room, another cubby door opens, with a wolf's head appearing in tandem. him. It's a cool trick, but perhaps the best part of the movie as a whole, which doesn't say a whole lot. Coming in at number 2, Sackman from The Strangers. This film is incredibly underrated and absolutely terrifying. Home invasion is nothing to joke about, but seeing it play out on screen like this, you'll be wishing you lived in an underground bunker or on the 50th floor of a high-rise. Me. Released in 2008 and directed by Brian Bertino, the movie follows a couple, Kristen and James, whose getaway is ruined when 3 masked criminals break into their home and torment the couple. They suffer through hell as they are stalked around the home and tortured by the intruders. One of these intruders is Sackman, who appears to be the leader of the group, orchestrating the events. Now, the movie relies on the fears of what is outside and what could potentially get in, with all appearing normal at first until James goes out for a cigarette and Kristen remains inside with a glass of water. That's very important, apparently. Why the did I say that? I don't know. Before out of the shadows emerges a tall figure with a sack over his head, and this is when everything descends into pure terror. Whatever was outside is now inside, and there is no way of getting rid of them. It delivers the fear of what exactly is going on behind us when we're not looking, what might be hiding in the dark corners of our homes. Now, I won't spoil the ending for those who haven't seen the movie, but it turns into a bloodbath pretty quickly for the pair, who are ultimately forced to fight for their lives. And the final few moments are absolutely chilling and not easy to forget, with Kristen asking the masked intruders, why? And Sackman simply answering, because you were home. Terrifying. Now, this movie is even more terrifying once you know that it is loosely based on the real-life Manson family Tate murders. As most will know, on the night of August 8, 1969, some of the Manson family members broke into the home of Sharon Tate, who at the time was almost 9 months pregnant, and killed all of the people inside. It was an absolutely devastating and brutal killing, and all under the direction of Charles Manson, the infamous cult leader. And finally, in at number 1, we have the cultists from Hereditary. We talk about this movie frequently on this channel, however, it encompasses a lot of different categories and somehow manages to pop up. Released in 2018 and directed by Ari Aster, Hereditary centers on a family who begin to experience strange goings on following the death of their secretive grandmother. Things begin to spiral out of control, with the movie ramping up the creepy factor pretty quickly, resulting in one of the most shocking and unexpected deaths to appear on screen in a very, very long time. The family struggle with the supernatural happenings that begin to plague their family, with it being revealed that the evil demon Paimon is at the root of all of it, and with Paimon comes along a loyal cult of followers who wish to bring the demon to Earth through the body of a living human. Now, most first watch throughs, you are likely to miss some of the more subtle creepy moments, but if you watch again you might begin to pick up on these elements. For example, the creepy cult hiding in plain sight, in wide shots of the house, hiding behind closed doors, or even in the attic. The creepy cult is everywhere, usually naked, making things that much more creepy. It's terrifying to know that all along, through everything, the cult were there watching from afar, monitoring the family as Paimon took over, ending finally with the son, Peter, being worshipped by the cult as the one and only Paimon. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? Were there any horror movie monsters that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 2. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos. Top 5 horror movie victims who deserve death. Steve Cass said, I cheered Carrie when she killed everyone at the prom. Honestly, I think we all did. I mean, I wasn't devastated when she killed anyone. I was hoping she'd kill more people, to be honest. That's just how I feel. Michael Jabart said, the one female in The Descent who slept with the main character's husband is on my list. Exactly, and that's why I put her on this list, because she's a real Anyone that sleeps with another woman's husband? No, dead to me. Ubox3 said, only the Dark Queen Lucy can say it's horrific about a disturbing movie scene but still have a wry smirk on her face when she says it. I feel like I just have a wry smirk on my face at all times, no matter what. You could say that someone's been brutally murdered and I'll probably have a little smirk. It's just my face. Austin Hurt said, Lucy is back in all her red sweater glory, really brings out her darkness, just missing her crown now. Ain't that the truth? I bet you guys are loving my Halloween outfits. Brings out my darkness, except for Cher, that just brought out my joy. I don't have it much, so when I was Cher, that was a lot of joy. Lilith Gold said, whenever there is an on-screen Achilles tendon injury, I always cringe. Same. Anything happening to the Achilles is disgusting to me. Ugh. Hostel was the worst for it. Disgusting. Warlock's Brow said, you mentioned everyone in House of Wax except Jared Padalecki. Dark Queen, how could you not mention 50% of the greatest TV show ever, Supernatural? Well, I never watched Supernatural. I watched one episode and was bored, so I don't have time to talk about people I'm not familiar with. So, that's it. Don't really know Jared Padalecki. Don't have time for him. can only list like 3 names at a time. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another scary vid. And until next time, see you later. Cool. Before we begin though, I'll drop first. Should I say that a bit better? Released in 2000 and directed by Mary Harron. Mary Harron. Doesn't sound right to me. Mary Harron. I don't know. I just feel like I'm starting to doubt whether she even directed it, you know? I'm gonna go with it. He is hot though, so if you wanna die. It's terrifying to know that all... Lilith Gold said whenever... Shush.